Debate live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Refracted Curvature and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server, so welcome one and all.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. I've just released a shorts clip from yesterday's presentation with 10th Man. Very, very limited in terms of the material I could squeeze into a 60-second shorts video from 10th himself, but a few key reference moments from 10th, followed by my little interjection about Terminator, the original one, with a quote about Terminators not stopping, but with reference to AI. So I thought that was quite amusing, or at least a couple of commenters said it was, so I'll trim that out, stuck it out in a short, so check that out if you haven't done so already. Leave it a like, maybe bung a comment on it, share it around, all that good stuff. And if you haven't done so already, check out yesterday's presentation from 10th Man in terms of trajectory with respect to a flat plane and cornering AI into saying that. He didn't have to, I mean, he did have to obviously carefully phrase things to corner AI, but by the same token, it's just presenting factual information, and the way 10th is phrasing it to this AI bot, Perplexity it was, he's getting the right answers out of him with occasional, like one or two over the course of an hour-long discussion, references to Globe that just get arbitrarily thrown in without any justification and stand in contradiction to prior points that Perplexity's presented to 10th Man. So he deals with those as well, and it does come to a nice round conclusion within the live show. It was about an hour long in terms of the presentation, reading it out with a few bits of interjection here and there from myself and Eli mainly. So yeah, check that out if you haven't seen yesterday's live stream. Yeah, let's do a bit of housekeeping. Any evidence of the distance to the sun? You're all keen, super keen.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering, would you have to know every position between you and the sun to formulate any kind of equation of distance?
Well, I'd need to know how high or how far it was.
I'm just saying you would
In
need to
celestial
know.
navigation. Go ahead, my dad.
Go on, Adam. One more
Depends
time.
where you are.
Hold on, Sasha. Just one more time, Adam.
I was just going to say, in celestial navigation, the altitude to a celestial isn't a height, but an angle to it from level.
Yeah, but I'd need that height if I'm
Which
going
is-
to infer distance. Can't get it.
Yes.
I'm not saying we should be able to. They change in angle when we raise in height. No, they do not. So we can't really take much away from them other than that's very useful for establishing ground positions for navigation. But for the fact that they remain the exact same angle, we wouldn't be able to navigate with them. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Which one?
Any that has scientific evidence touched?
Liquid separating according to viscosity.
Liquid separating according to its viscosity? What's that got to do with gravity? That's not scientific evidence either. Might at best describe that as a natural phenomenon if you had two water types or two liquid types mixed together, and you happen to reach the point where one was introduced to the other and you watched and observed them separate, that could be a natural phenomenon, I guess. How's that? That's not scientific evidence for anything at that stage.
Well, right, but we've got to observe a phenomenon you've admitted to now. So the greater weights of liquids are always at the bottom.
And
so the greater weight's always moving down.
And the lesser weight's always moving up.
No, they
Well, it
stop
must
at
do.
the top of the container.
If one's displacing the other,
No.
in order for one to be in a down by our reference, then the other must be in up. If they're mixed and one goes down, the other must go up.
But there's no lid on the container. Why is it?
Separating.
Why does
You're
it stop?
describing one of them being separated from the other. Well, one will end up in the, let's call it the down position. Where's the other one going to end up? Also in the down position. They can't both go down if one's displacing the other.
Right. So the one with the greater weight, because of its mass, will be below the other.
So you're saying that the one with less mass in that colloquial definition of weight, well, it's still got mass and it's going up. Nothing's changed. You just want me to ignore one section, the bit that goes up, right? So you can say all things go down.
It's not going up. It's the top of the lid's open. It's not going up.
I'm not talking about the lid. I'm talking about the liquid that gets displaced. We go around in circles.
I think you're talking about density, not weight.
Regardless, we've still got one aspect of it going up and the other going down as they separate. Well, if you're going to say, well, gravity in terms of all things going down, well, even in your own example, that is not the case. Moving on. There is no scientific evidence of anything to do with gravity. Best we can do is describe specific gravity with a relative density disequilibrium being described with a vector change in natural terms, and then validating why that vector change took place. That's it. That's the closest you can get to scientific evidence for a very particular type of gravity called specific gravity. There are 5 different types.
Can you define vector, and in what kind of system will you use a vector?
Reference with respect to a horizontal plane. Is that where you're trying to take me?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
we're going to need a flat plane for gravity. I should have got there quicker, really. To describe gravity in either heliocentric versions of it, that's Newtonian or Einsteinian, you'll need a horizontal plane of reference to make that mathematical description. We move on? Anything more on gravity? Any turns of events?
Well,
Go on, Jado.
When I'm designing my transmission line span,
What's that?
and I take into consideration the span, the weight of the cable, I have to determine the G in the equation. Why is the G in the equation?
What's the G for? What is G in that equation?
Gravity.
Is it the weight of it? I don't know what you're referencing, but I can only assume it's the weight of whatever you're dealing with. Sounded like a cable or something. It's weight in air, correct?
Yeah.
It's its weight in air. You can call that gravity if you choose.
The effect of a mass being pushed towards the ground has to be taken into consideration when you're building anything that spans across the ground, including a bridge, transmission lines.
Yeah, and?
Oh, I'm just asking you. Why do they put it in there?
Why do they call something's weight gravity? So that you think there's a gravity when you're just describing something's relative density in air? Or to air, I should say.
Now, when you're talking about specific items that are being built, weight is a different factor because you have specific mass
of different materials, such as metals, woods, bolts, nuts, cables, but the effect of the downward force is always considered as G. That's different from the weight.
There is no downward force. There's no such thing as a downward force.
He's asking why there's a claimed what he's calling downward force in the equations when building stuff. That's what he's asking. Why is there a G in there is his question. I don't know the answer.
But all I'm saying is that...
Because they're accounting for
Hold on, just 1 second, Jado. Hold on. Go ahead, John.
They're accounting for disequilibrium because there's not something there. They're building something and changing the environment. They're causing disequilibrium. That you account for that with weight in air.
You guys missed it. He said things that weigh the same have a different acceleration towards the ground, so you have to account for the different acceleration. That's ridiculous. Their whole premise is that everything accelerates the same. So why would a different object matter?
Yo, brothers, how are you doing?
I don't know. None of this is scientific evidence of anything, though. Asking me why a G appears to account for things in terms of their displacement in air or weight, it still doesn't substitute for scientific evidence of gravity to assert that there is a force of down or a bending space-time in heliocentric terms. This still isn't science, regardless of this discussion.
Is there no
Did he really slip in?
Hold on, John. Just 1 sec. Go ahead and on.
So, sorry, what?
I said go ahead.
Is there a force down? Is there a force down or no?
No.
So we don't fall down when we...
Hold on, John. Try one more time and on.
We are not going down when we jump from something.
When we jump from something, are we going down?
I mean, if I let an apple drop, it's not going down.
I'm sorry, I was clarifying your question when you started answering me. Is your question...
I'm asking you, is there a force down or no?
I already answered that, no. And then I asked for the clarity of your question, which is... I'm trying for the third time to clarify your question. You seem to be answering every time I try to repeat your question to me, and on you're doing it again. It's the fourth attempt. Fifth attempt. Hopefully won't be interrupted. So your question is, do we go down when we jump off something? Is that your question to me?
Yes.
Why are you asking this?
Because is that not a force down then?
Why are you asking me anything? I've asked for scientific evidence of gravity. Is this that? It doesn't seem like it. I'm still talking. It seems like I'm talking and you're talking whenever I talk. That's what seems to be happening, and on. Try that again. This isn't answering my question. That would be, I don't have a positive claim about gravity. None. Why are you asking me about what things do in this regard when there's a religious belief that people are on a globe with either bent space-time or a force of down when mass attracts mass? Now I'm asking for scientific evidence of that. You're asking me questions? I don't really understand why I'm being asked anything. I haven't got a positive claim. I don't have a horse in this race. Why are you asking me about whether or not we go down when we jump off stuff? I'm not asking you about if the clouds are above you, am I?
But they are above me, right?
But who cares? Is this scientific evidence of gravity?
I mean, I didn't ask you if gravity exists.
I'm asking. I ask it daily.
What are you asking?
Maybe if you weren't talking when I talked. Scientific evidence of gravity.
I don't have that.
It's because it isn't real. There is no such thing as gravity. It's not a... My bad, it seems like every time I open my lips, you're talking immediately and on. What's your malfunction? Try that again. There isn't a gravity. There isn't a force of gravity. It isn't real. It's conceptual. It exists in a mathematical concept invented by a man called Einstein. There's no phenomena to observe. It isn't real.
But observable, if I jump in a swimming pool from the jumping board, then I'm going and in the pool lower than me, right?
What, going down? And when I look up at the clouds, they're doing that also, are they? The clouds do that too, do they? No is the answer. No. No is the answer. We could ignore the things that go up and assert there's a downward force that's 109 years out of date. We could. We won't, because it's bollocks. If we ignore the things that go up, we can assert that all things go down at 9.8 metres per second squared. Oh, definitely not. There's things that don't do that. Now, you picking out an example that ignores all things that don't do that won't suffice as scientific evidence of your nonsense belief. You think jumping off stuff proves your nonsense belief. It doesn't. It's not real. Just told you that. Your response to me telling you it's not real and why it's not real was to reassert your garbage you asked me previously that I already dealt with about jumping off things. I'm pretty sure I already dealt with this, Anon. It's like you don't listen. I'd already dealt with it when you repeated it. So that's not a response to me pointing out that pseudo-geometry and mass attracting mass 109 years superseded isn't going to be justified by jumping off something, son. Hope you understand. Don't need to repeat that a third time. I heard the first 2 times. I also take a giant steaming dump on it when people assert it. But just looking up at clouds and asking if they go down at 9.8 metres per second. I didn't get an answer from you. Should we try that again, Anon? Are the clouds going down 9.8 metres per second attracted to the mass of Earth?
I mean, there is a logic answer.
Is that a closed question with a yes or no answer attached? I'm pretty sure it was a closed question. I'm pretty sure it was a closed question while chaos in the audio department starts from maybe white knights that don't like this pummeling this Fundy's just received. Maybe if we have a lot of audio chaos, it won't be concisely summarised by me. Now I'll just whack you on mute, prick. Now, you don't have a force. The clouds debunk that shit. They're not going down to the Earth at 9.8 metres per second, and you started rambling rather than answering my closed question in the negative. So I'll ask it again, Fundy. You can take Anon off mute. His audio chaos didn't work. I've got my own local mute button when pricks on the globe zealotry side of this discussion decide that my concise summary of the clouds not going down. When I asked, do the clouds go down, Anon? 9.8 metres per second squared. Do they do that?
Longer than one word, or can I make a sentence, or do you want to?
It's a closed question, and on being asked whether or not you can answer with a sentence isn't really an answer to the closed question that I've asked you twice already, and we seem to be getting quite a lot of audio chaos when I repeat the question you don't want to answer. Are the clouds going down at 9.8 metres per second, Anon?
Are you dumb?
Is it just me, or is it at this question we've now got complete audio chaos?
It's not possible to discuss.
Yeah, I'm just going to mute Discord because it's like Anon doesn't want to continue the conversation at the point that he loses. Loser. 4th time's the charm. Do the clouds go down at 9.8 metres per second squared, Anon? 4th time. Sigh for me, you pathetic globe loser. No, they do not, Anon. Your gravity scam is nonsense. I just took a giant shit on it. Your rumpusing didn't overcome that. Do you understand, son? You stupid globe-believing dick.
Bro,
do you hear me smiling at you and calling you a numpty? Calling you an idiot? And justifiably so. Your nonsense waffle about jumping off stuff was overcome with clouds, Anon. Do you just feel the need to talk through me and chant every time you lose? You pathetic globe loser. Chanting through me won't alter your loss, son. The clouds aren't going down at 9.8 metres per second, you complete idiot. With a globe belief. You talking through me incessantly won't alter that. You just lost, Anon. You just lost.
Oh, bro, watch the side chat. Watch the side chat.
So watching the side chat won't make the clouds go down at 9.8 metres per second, Anon?
Yes, it's explained there.
It explains I can talk through you! In my defeat. No, you've just lost, you pathetic globe loser.
So you're not going to read it?
No, I'm going to tell you that the clouds aren't going down at 9.8 metres per second, as you would assert when you ask me why you go down when you jump off something. I've rebutted your stupid crap. And now you're demanding that I look at a side chat whilst incessantly rambling through the top of me. Is this your version of a win, Anon? Like, just keep talking when someone points out how badly you've lost? And technically, that's a win if you're a Glober.
Bro,
It's not a question for me. You haven't answered my question in 6 attempts, so I'll ask it again a 6th time. Are the clouds going down like you jumping off a building? Yes or no? 6 times.
You are going down.
Why are you telling me what I'm doing when I'm asking a yes or no question? That's not an answer to a closed question.
As if I am jumping off the...
It's a closed question with a yes or no answer attached. Are the clouds going down like you jumping off a building? Yes or no? 7 times. Pathetic globe loser. We're winning. We've won. Earth's measured flat. This is non sequitur. It's a housekeeping question. We've dealt with this years ago. This pathetic sod thinks that rambling through me and not answering his failure in respect to clouds not going down towards the Earth with their mass is the mass of the clouds attracted to the mass of the Earth. No, it is not. This is his devastating defeat, and his only address to his devastating defeat is this: talking through me constantly. That's his only address. I've given him the question now 8 times. Do the clouds go down like you jumping off stuff? 8 times. Pathetic bitch.
I've muted you.
Right, did your mumble suffice as a yes or a no?
Who is that guy? Nathan, okay.
So why are you talking about me? Is this an ad hom? Me, I've got no bearing on whether or not the clouds go down at 9.8 metres per second squared, but this bitch from the globe loser side of this pathetic zealot religion, this unenlightened tosser, thinks a win will be gained by avoiding the question 9 times. Now, in the mind's eye of the audience, it's absolutely clear just how devastating this is to you, Anon. Maybe if you sigh, that will be the win. Maybe that'll make the clouds go down at 9.8 metres per second. Maybe you talking through me, repeating it for the 10th time. Maybe this audio chaos, which has gone on constantly. I've just controlled that audio chaos that you don't have to listen to, audience. I can control that with one little button. It's the mute button that I'll be blamed at for using. If I was on a neutral platform, my devastating victory wouldn't have been heard. It would be all neutral-like for him to be talking through every word of his defeat. Now we've reached the point where the server room operators have gone, yeah, screw this. This loser bitch from the globe side who can't concede in 10 attempts that clouds aren't going down to the mass of Earth. Son, that's where you lost, Anon. But because you're a globe-believing bitch, you're being called a loser by me, the flat earther, the winner. You understand, Anon? You loser, globe-believing tosser. You understand, son? 10 attempts for you to fail to say, no, the clouds aren't comporting with my gravity belief. That definitely ain't scientific evidence. 10 attempts. Anon, you pathetic tosser. No, got nothing for me now. Is it just when I'm talking, taking your stupid claim to part that you need to be talking? Is that the only time, Anon? Just when I'm taking a dump on your claim? Good lad. Know your limits, Anon. Know how pathetic your stupid gravity belief is and how big a dump we take on it daily when we ask for scientific evidence of it. And you ask me if jumping off stuff isn't good enough. In the face of the clouds! There he is again. Like the bitch that can't take the defeat he has to chant through the summary of it. So total silence until I summarise your defeat, little bitch.
Imagine being 40 years old and not able to have a conversation.
So calling me 14-year-old is an ad hom when I've taken apart your question proof of if jumping off something proves gravity. That's a question proof overcome with clouds. Am I 14, bitch? Or am I taking a giant dump on your stupid religious belief in gravity? I think it's the latter, son. Now, do you want to call me 14 again? I'm a 44-year-old man taking a dump on your globe religion. Is that all you got, Anon, to yammer through the 10 defeats you took? Did you think the 10 repetitions of your defeat with you yammering through it was going to be a good showing for the globe and its gravity? It wasn't. You did very poorly. You've not represented your side well. You've made them look bad, Anon. I hope you realise that. Having the same thing pointed out 10 times as a closed question that you can't answer is sad and very bad looking on your side. Hope you understand. No, it is literally just when I'm summarising his defeat. I'll get him to talk again. The way Anon got absolutely whooped was by me pointing out clouds don't go down at 9.8 metres per second squared, as he used with the question proof about jumping off stuff. I mean, he completely ignored the pseudo-geometry of Einstein. He completely ignored the fact that Newtonian mass-attracting mass has been overcome and superseded 109 years ago. He ignored all of the above in favour of just chanting through every word of that. Well, he's off mute now. He can definitely hear me. He's heard every word of it. So why do you stupid globe-believing tosser, believe in this stupid shit? Anon, can you answer me that? Why do you believe in this stupid nonsense? Nope, just a stony silence. I'll throw it out to the audience if it's all right by you, Anon. The rest of the globe-believing dicks and idiots just like you who, maybe if they were here, they'd be yammering through the top of me like you're about to do in the middle of this sentence. It's only in the middle of the sentence that an effective answer can come from Anon. Obviously, the middle of my sentence is the best and appropriate time for him to be now yammering. It's only reasonable that he should be yammering through the middle of this statement and the next statement and any subsequent statements that I make until either I press the button that means I don't have to have constant interruptions and can tone it down a little bit for you, the audience, without this prick who lost, deciding that the stony silences he left weren't sufficient time for him to answer any questions he failed to answer 10 times. It's only in the middle of the summary yammer that I give after the fact. You need to start talking in the middle of that, Anon. Nobody really heard what you just said, Anon, because you started talking in the middle of me talking. Why do you believe in this shit that I just took a steaming dump on 10 times, Anon? Why do you believe this nonsense I just debunked? Can you answer that? Now I've finished talking.
To me, brother, because I have muted you. I have told you 20 times, but probably you're not muting to me anymore.
I didn't understand a single bleeding word of that. That was nonsense. Can you speak English?
Can someone else want to have the conversation about the...
Can't understand a word you're saying.
I understand what he's saying. He's saying that we are muted, that we cannot listen, and that you are only speaking. But Anna, that's his show. That's why I'm not speaking. He's speaking, but it's not my show. It's his show, you know. And other people not speaking because that's his show. And you can now answer where he is wrong in what he is saying. That's what we are, because we are listening. Can you now say where he is wrong, that we can hear your opinion?
No, that's not what I asked him. Thank you, Sasha, for the co-hosting. No, thank you, Sasha. Actually, I'll take control of my show and ask him what I'm asking him. My question is now going to get yammered through because this bitch has decided that me talking doesn't mean he has to shut up. No. Loser, why do you believe this shit is my question? No, I'm never going to get my question because he's decided it's his show, Sasha. I didn't need any help and you've rephrased what I actually asked him because you didn't listen. Why do you believe this shit? I just know it's third attempt. Now we're going to get 10 attempts at this closed question. It's actually not closed. Why do you believe this shit I've just taken a dump on with clouds? It's stupid shit I've debunked. Why do you believe it? That's the question. Oh, we're not getting any answers, Sasha. It's only when I'm talking that he talks, because he thinks that's an effective means of debating me. The silence is that he gets to answer the questions that are put to him based on his question proof of jumping off stuff that's overcome with clouds. The follow-up to his devastating defeat is, why do you believe this crap I just took a dump on? Anon. Wait for the stony silence and zero response. No response. Yeah, he's got nothing. Has he, Sasha? He's got nothing but silence. Unless when I'm talking, he can potentially throw me off by talking in the middle of my statements about what a prick he is, what an idiot he is, what a globe-believing numpty is, how his proof in the form of a question about jumping off stuff definitely weren't scientific evidence of gravity. And when I ask him why he would believe this stupid nonsense, he's got nothing to say. He doesn't know why he believes this stupid crap. In the face of us debunking it on a daily basis. He thinks that a question proof of jumping off stuff is good. And then yammering through the undoing of it will be sufficient to undo this. Or clouds undo it, Anon. I'm still curious as why you believe in this crap that we debunk daily. You're not going to tell me? Is it a secret why you believe this crap? Maybe the audience can tell me, Anon can't seem to tell me. Is it a secret why you idiot globe believers believe this crap? Is that some sort of secret? Why you'd retain this idiotic belief in the face of demonstrable proof it isn't real? No, maybe the audience will let me know in time. Maybe you can leave a comment below if you're an audience member and you're on the globe and retain this idiotic globe faith in something that's debunked by looking up at clouds. Maybe you can tell me why you believe that crap. Why you'd be so stupid. Please let me know in the comments. Anon didn't manage it. Just yammering through the top of me and moaning about how he doesn't run the show here when someone else is talking and he needs to yammer through it and needs it to be neutral when he yammers through anything that's demolishing his position. That's stupid. Right, Anon? Good lad. You stay on mute there, son. Got a video to cover today. So apparently our counterparts, that would be Nathan Thompson and Angels of Light, did a questionable job. I've had mixed reports. So I'm not entirely sure how this is going to be taken from either our own side or potentially the Globe side. So if anybody's got anything to say on it, I'll get their comments and then we'll get on with it shortly. Anybody got any comment on 3-4 days ago modern day debate with Nathan Thompson and Angels of Light? PhD Tony and Peter Markley podcast is the title.
Given that I've not seen it, I really just want to interject here for no reason.
Okay, can I interject then? So first, there is a logic explanation why clouds float, why...
I wasn't asking about that, you dumbass. Did you think that when I'd moved on with a nice, concise segue that I needed you to talk, did you not think the gaps I offered you as a kind host were sufficient? Do you think me shutting you down now means that you've got to continually talk while I do a segue to a video we're going to be covering? No, maybe the new introduction of a different subject that you left silences in would be sufficient for you to keep yammering to the top of my very clear segue away from your devastating defeat, Anon. So no, I didn't invite for you to respond at this point. That was the invitation maybe 2 or 3 minutes ago that you ignored and left silences. So shut your mouth.
A dictator trying
Server operators, can you mute Anon, please? I've made a segue. I gave him plenty of opportunity to answer me. Thank you very much. Shut your mouth, Anon. Thank you, server moderators.
You can hear these live and in the moment so that you can ask questions via the super chat to your favorite speakers. You got to subscribe to the YouTube channel Modern Day Debate. And with that, thank you, Nathan, for coming back to Modern Day Debate. You're on mute right now, and we're going to hand you the floor for your up to 6-minute introduction. So thank you again.
Wow, 6-minute introduction.
No problem. If you guys aren't familiar, my name is Nathan Thompson. Used to run the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion before it was censored and deleted. We had 155,000 members in the group. That's if you believe the numbers. Social media is telling a globe. I'm going to look at the sun. I'm not going to prove a globe. I'm going to look at computer models with red dots on them. They have lost the plot, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not talking to my interlocutors on the other side. I'm talking to the audience for almost the entire debate. You are the ones that need to hear from me.
Well, number one, that goes without saying, but matter of fact, you are talking to PhD Tony. He's there to debate you, isn't he? I mean, I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, your overall appeal is going to be to the audience. They decide if you win or lose. Okay.
Please do the research. Also tests I've done on top of long distance observations. The moonlight is measured cold.
Long distance observations aren't tests.
Star trails don't intersect the marine horizon. I've debated NASA employees.
How are these tests? What are you talking about?
Of course, it was in the airport. They won't agree to a public debate, but land surveyors, PhD astrophysicists.
Whoa. This is pure scattergunning. I mean, we're 20 minutes in. Surely some of this stuff's going to be padded out and substantiated. Is it just a long list?
Pilots, none of them can prove the globe. A lot of them are actually more unfamiliar with the arguments.
None of them prove the globe. Didn't he say in the opening gambit that it wasn't about the globe? I can see why this has been put under my nose. It's going to be a long process, lads.
Then these anti-flat earthers on YouTube, these anti-flat earthers know more about their globe than the experts, just so you guys know. But 1 second, I want to show screen if I could. I can't hear you, sir.
Oh, no worries. I just said, yeah, that's no problem.
How do I do that?
If you're on the phone, it should just be, you should be able to just click on the bottom.
Are you kidding me? It's asking me
Oh, yeah, just quite a few times. I feel that
our opponents and say we don't understand curvature of the earth when I'm on TikTok and
Our opponents say we don't understand curvature. Why would we need to? You don't need to know curvature if you're a flat earther. It's non sequitur. It's like saying, oh, right, I appreciate that Scientology is a cult. Well, you better learn all about Scientology. What are we doing? This leaves us arguing within their paradigm if we do this. How it's not a globe? How we're not ruled by Xenu? Well, how'd you know? Well, because I learned a lot about Xenu.
99% of the Globers on TikTok don't know how much the earth should curve.
Should the earth curve, Nathan Thompson? No, it should not. We got to get him on the show, man. If he's going to be out on the circuit doing this shit. This is so last year.
Then we tell them how much the earth should curve and they say no.
It shouldn't. When we tell them how much the earth should curve, what, and then show them how much missing is. It should be there and isn't. Check it out. Let's figure out why it's not there when it should be, because it should be there, according to Nathan Thompson.
Earth is too big. You wouldn't see that amount of curvature.
So you're not only giving their position, you're giving their anti-flat earth rhetoric too. Oh, has anybody got any comments? Just like rein in my exasperation at this.
It's easy to see why you're getting frustrated, and it's also understandable why he's doing this because of how the feast of nonsense has been set up leading into this topic. So I say we give him a little bit of latitude.
Duncan McLeod says this is already terrible. Yeah, but it just earned me a $5 super chat, Duncan, so it can't be that bad. Thank you for the super chat.
Then we ask them how big Earth is, and they don't know that either. So I'm talking 99.
How big it is only going to be with respect to elevation angle measurements taken from a flat plane derived into sphericity. So how big it is after that process has its genesis in flat Earth measurements and is arbitrary. That isn't the size of Earth. It's the size of the globe Earth after making flat Earth measurements and inferring we've got sphericity with those flat Earth measurements. But that's our 2024 rhetoric. Earth's measured flat. The globe comes from those measurements. If you ignore them, you're assisting them. You're allowing them to whistle past the measurements, the genesis of this claim, that you're even telling the audience should be so. Should be Earth curve. Should be radial value. Should be this big. No, it shouldn't. That's your opponent's position.
9% of Globers. And we get gaslighted by our opponents saying we don't understand curvature. Trust me, I've looked into the curvature, Pythagorean theorem, AutoCAD, Sagitta, Earth curvature calculator formulas. They're all going to tell you the same thing. This is how much curvature you would see on your globe religion.
Nathan Thompson, Earth is measured flat. It's how it functions. It's how it's mapped. It's how it's been charted. It's how it's flown across, sailed across. It's how it expanded the known territories. None of that involves globe. Let your opponents make the claim, mate. We've been poisoned into a belief that we have to overcome the globe's claim, so we can argue all day about how globy it is or isn't. That's very one-sided, isn't it? Shh. Wake up, man. It's 2024. Don't need to do that. We know it's not a globe. Now tell them how it's flat.
Here's the Chicago skyline. I've made this observation as well from the other side of Lake Michigan. Then we took the helicopter from Kenosha on the other side of the skyline and measured it flat from the other side too with infrared. 57 miles should be obstructing the entire skyline. And
should it? Oh no, there should be an obstruction, said the globe believers. There's two positions, right? We're looking at the Chicago skyline. Me as a flat earther, and let's call our anti-flat earth / globe believing brethren, Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson's a globe believer. I look across and go, check it out, Chicago skyline. And Mr. Thompson says, that's not Chicago skyline. There should be an obstruction. Therefore, it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction holographic projection of Chicago skyline from behind the reified physical geometric sphere edge horizon we call Earth curve. Therefore, it's a mirage. We're not really seeing the Chicago skyline. There should be an obstruction. Therefore, it's a mirage. Earth is a sphere, says Mr. Thompson. I, as a flat earther, respond to Mr. Globe-believing Thompson and say, I just see Chicago. There is absolutely no explanation required. I see it because it's there. As opposed to it's a slightly looming non-standard refraction holographic projection of the Chicago skyline from behind the physical geometric sphere edge horizon that, according to Nathan Thompson, should be there. No, it should not. Get a grip on what is your claim, Nathan. Your claim is that it's flat, not that there should be obstruction. That's their claim that fails.
And you can see all those buildings here. 6 lighthouses should be obstructed by the curve.
That's your actual argument. We see these buildings here. It's not an argument, though. It's a statement of fact. That's not an argument that you need to make as a flat earther when you look across the bay and see something. Why do we see? I don't have to explain why I see it. Because I've got friggin' eyeballs. What do you mean, why do I see it? Because I've looked at it. Well, you need to explain why. No, I don't. I just need to open my eyes. Go on, Mush. Mush?
Oh, sorry. I just got unmuted by accident. I changed the room.
Oh, fair enough. No worries. We need to change our rhetoric as flat earthers. We need to step away from the globe, man. Come on. It's 2024.
Curvature of the...
But if you want to make this argument, the sum total of it was that last sentence. We see these buildings. End quote. Nathan Thompson. Yeah, that's it. That's not an argument. That's just a statement of fact. You don't have to make an argument. They have to justify why it shouldn't be there and sound like nutcases. But you're doing it for them.
The Earth, ending with Lady Liberty, which should be obstructed by over 2,000 feet of curvature.
Should it? Should it, heck? No, it should not. You just see them. No explanation is required.
Now,
Nathan,
something we
I
do...
would disagree.
What?
As a glober, it is great when they tell me what I should not see, because that is to say there is a phenomenon happening that's causing obstruction to not be obstructing. I wonder if I could classify this into optical phenomenon. Like
They do. It just isn't. A building in the distance, let's say the Chicago skyline, that's a concrete noun. You're saying, can I call this a phenomenon if I assume there should be an obstruction but isn't? Therefore, a phenomenon. No, you can't. It's not something happening. It's the Chicago skyline.
when you say it like that, I can't. But if someone was to come out and say there should be an obstruction there,
Oh, I'll lead you in then. So if I'm the globe believer in this scenario, and there's three people there, I open my eyes as a flat earther and say, Chicago. Man next to me says, no, there should be an obstruction blocking our view of Chicago, and Earth is a sphere that isn't blocking, therefore we're not really seeing Chicago. It's behind the sphere edge that we can't see, projected up from behind it with refraction, therefore a mirage. And the third man says, well, that's definitely a phenomena that we could science. Right, John?
No. You need the flat earther to say there should be something there. That way, the norm is being altered and a phenomenon is happening. Without
so I, as a flat earther, don't need to just open my eyes and go, check it out, Chicago sky. I need to go, check it out. There should be Earth curve in the way of that skyline.
Yes.
Why would I do that?
Makes it a lot easier on me.
Why would I do that? That's what we're critiquing, by the way. If you've lost track in this play-by-play that we're doing, that's what's being critiqued. Why would you do that? Why would you say that if you're a flat earther? Why would you tell anyone what should be there in the form of your opponent's claim? Why would we do this? We've been poisoned with the feast of nonsense, that's why.
Exactly. It makes it easier for them to invoke an explanation and make it seem valid. You know what I mean?
It's justified to explain something that needs no explanation. There's Chicago. Explain that. Why?
Right. So if you take your position, then they don't really have a rebuttal.
No, they don't, do they? But that's kind of what I'm trying to impart onto these guys. And I've got no, ill feelings towards Nathan Thompson or Angels. Quite the opposite. They're not only on our side, they don't hate us for not believing in ether. So, if anything, they're the most friendly people we could be critiquing. But this has come across my desk because several people have turned their nose up at it and gone, I didn't like this performance. They walked away saying they'd won. I didn't feel like they did. Let's have a listen.
Do have that can obstruct things in the distance is atmospheric perspective. Light.
Atmo, what now? Sphere-shaped air? That's nice that you've given them that. Thanks, Nathan. It's really handy for them to have sphere-shaped air.
Attenuates as it moves towards you. So this is a 123-mile San Jacinto observation. You turn
that distance, 123 miles. You could end with that. You could start and end this discussion with that. 123 miles, you need flat Earth for that. Full stop, end paragraph, end debate, Earth is flat. No comeback, no rebuttal, statement of fact that they cannot deal with. It's a linear distance.
on the infrared, and the entire mountains there. Voila. This is the Canigou Mountains. Twice a year, the sun will set behind these mountains. They are 9,000 feet tall. From 100.
You could end with that. That would be your perfect end argument. These mountains are... How did he say? Let's just get the exact so I don't sound stupid.
Infrared, and the entire mountains there. Voila. This is the Canigou Mountains. Twice a year, the sun will set behind these mountains. They are 9,000 feet tall.
With respect to a horizontal plane of reference to get their height, and describe it with respect to a sea level. If they're that height off sea level where you are and where they are, Earth is flat. End of argument. Earth's measured flat. What you're doing, Nathan, is whistling past the use of a flat Earth to assert that when you use those flat Earth prerequisites, it won't be comporting to the ball they've hijacked those measurements to infer exists. You don't need any of it. You've whistled past all of the proofs that you needed, all of the measurements that you refer to. Anything that is an Earth measurement, in any example you give ever, will require Earth to be flat. Be it the Earth curve maths that you've just referred to, that's got a flat Earth in it. This description of the sun setting with respect to mountain ranges at a height with respect to sea level. All of Earth measurements will be flat for all examples. It's just up to us as flat Earthers now in 2024 to not whistle past the flat Earth genesis it all needs. Just use that.
From 163 miles away, there should be...
On a flat Earth, 163 miles away, or a linear flat distance, that you can double check on any map or any chart or any Google Earth reference, elevation profile, any scale. They'll all prove it's flat, but you're going to throw it out there and then go into a curve maths that won't work with mountains that are shown in silhouette, measured off a flat plane. This is garbage. We've been poisoned. We don't need any of this anymore.
Be over 12,000 feet of drop.
Drop? What? Why will you have that value of drop? What will it be described dropping with respect to? Will it be with respect to surface level in Earth curve maths? As I just detailed. It's like I'm telepathic and see into the future. I've not watched this. That I'd already have referenced the fact that the flat Earth mathematics that are called Earth curve maths have a plane of reference that you measure. The drops with respect to surface level. The Earth curve described in those maths is a deviation from the surface level you measure. Earth curve is below that surface level that you will measure. That's all you need. Oh, dear.
And we include the observer, which is 1,000 feet in this observation.
1,000 feet, what? Height above sea level? So you've got the mountains above sea level, you above sea level. That's all you need. All of these elevations are flat. Chuck that in their faces and see what they do with it. Yeah? Because what will they do? Well, they'll have to violate an axiom. Yeah, that don't sound like much fun. You can only get them into those tricky situations if you're not appealing to their non-starter of a claim that needs flat Earth measurements to make and how it fails. All that does is leave globe in the mind's eye of anybody listening. There should be Earth curve. Should be mountains in the way. People criticise us for not knowing how much Earth curve there is. People criticise us for not knowing how big the globe is. Really? That sounds like it's all stacked in one person's favour, doesn't it? The globe believer that you'll be arguing with. He's got all the ammunition laid out right for him, hasn't he? You've given it him.
And you can see it. Globers have said if you can see this, the Earth is not a globe, and you can see it, and the Earth's still not a globe. They still believe it's a globe.
They believe that, do they? What? All I understood from what you've just told me is there should be an Earth curve horizon blocking this stuff. Shouldn't we be figuring out why it isn't? Yeah? Or should we just refer to the heights of everything in every description of every measurement that's ever used, ever? Because they'll all be flat. See this? This is flat. You've missed the wood for the trees, Nathan. You've missed the wood for the trees. See all these heights? They're all flat too. With respect to a surface level. Same plane of reference that you're standing on to take the photo. It's all flat, mate. You've whistled past it.
Here's 50,000 feet of missing curvature. I've actually got a chat GPT.
No, missing curvature would be the description of what you assert an Earth curve mathematics would infer the geometric point below surface level isn't comporting with their below surface level measurement inferred to be Earth curve in their maths. This doesn't comport with that. When we whistle past the genesis of all flat Earth measurements in the example. All of the heights, all of the elevations, all of the reference to your position off sea level itself. Linear distances in miles. Linear distances in drop with respect to horizontal planes of reference that will be measured flat. There's a dozen flat Earth proofs that you've whistled past to tell them how their use of these flat Earth measurements doesn't work when you convert it to globe, and how it doesn't, and what should be, based on their globe claim, there or not there. We gotta get past this crap.
Conversation with the globe head whose brain was melting. He plugged in these figures and said, could we see this on the globe? And the chat GPT told him this would be geometrically impossible on a globe. There's 9.5 miles of missing curvature. We have systems like the SPS-55 search and rescue radar system. They travel 190 kilometers, bounce off a boat they're looking for, and come back to the receiver. That would not work if we had a geometric radar horizon due to the curvature of the Earth.
Not bad. Not bad. Could be a little bit better. Could do a refinement, but given the amount of grief I've given you on everything else so far, I'm just going to say, not bad. Actually, I'll throw it out to anybody else who might have a criticism. Or if not, please share the show. Almost 80 people watching. Smash that share button if you haven't done so already. A very warm welcome to all of you who've tuned in live. We are covering modern day debate, Nathan Thompson and Angel versus PhD Tony and Peter Markey podcast. So, please let this videographer know if you are in my live stream chat now. At Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment that won't get immediately taken away by the YouTube bots, or indeed the videographer who owns this video. So please be polite and just let them know we responded to their video. Share in the YouTube algorithmic love that we as flat earthers definitely do not get afforded.
There's also world record microwave links and land surveyors. Also, the microwave engineers don't account for the curvature when they're putting in the towers.
Got to slow down, man. You've got to actually pad these out. These are good, but you're just going too quickly. You've spent ages on not curving when describing geometric points below surface level in mathematics that we debunked in 2020. Nevertheless, these are good. You need to focus on this. I mean, it's poison when you've got what shouldn't be happening underneath it, but nevertheless, what you're saying is just coming and going in an instant, and they're your silver bullets.
Plane surveying assumes the Earth is flat, not curved, for 100 square miles.
It doesn't assume anything. It measures Earth flat. We, in both geodesic and planar surveying, we're measuring Earth flat.
Disregard curvature and treat the Earth as a flat plane. We've got more
Not treats it as a flat plane, measures it flat. You're diluting down the best proofs you've got so far.
Laser tests, we've got boats, but also we've got childish arguments from the other side, like things wouldn't disappear bottom first.
These are the arguments that you are making on their behalf. Lead up to this was all this. Now you're saying that the pathetic arguments you've postulated in your section aren't good arguments. You're about to go through the same stuff again.
On a flat Earth, which I find just ridiculous because you can put your phone down on the ground and watch things disappear bottom first. Hold on, I'll just pull
So what? Unless you're going to detail how you would maths that out with perspective, I guess, and that would require you to describe it mathematically with flat planes, but this has no practical application. Maybe someone needs to encourage Nathan Thompson to come and listen to Flat Earth Debate for a few episodes.
Look a different video.
Okay, we still got 10 seconds left.
Excellent. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Glovers have not figured out why things disappear bottom first on a flat Earth. Well, I assure you, this is not a curving field. You put your phone down and you simply walk away from it.
That's just garbage. Okay, I mean, that's the end of Thompson's time in this regard. Oh, man. A year, 2 years ago, Nathan, you'd probably got a lot more praise than you do today. That's not your fault. It's the Feast of Nonsense fault. We've all been poisoned, but I would hope that we are the antidote to that. Please tune in more often. I'm trying to get in the letter last time. Hey, Flatsy.
Hello.
Listening in?
Yes.
Riveting. Let's pass it to Angel. Thanks for playing, guys.
All right, thank you so much, Nathan, for your introductory statement. We're going to, kick it over to Angel to wrap up our introductions. Once again, thank you to our live chat for being so lively and engaged. No pun there.
Introduction? Was that part of an introduction? That was a full-on scattergun presentation on behalf of the Globe by Nathan Thompson. That was his introduction. Okay.
Intended. So let's set the 6 minutes on the floor, and yeah, it's all yours, Angel.
What is all this about? Does that allow? Is it allowed that can be completely unchallenged? What the hell?
In this thing that they're calling a debate, yes.
So I could scattergun crap for 6 minutes?
Yes. And that which they're calling a debate, you could do that.
Okay.
Let me go.
You can see
my favorite color is purple. 6 minutes later. My favorite color is green. Your turn.
Green.
Yes, they can now.
This is pitch data that shows the aircraft was flying at the same altitude for 2 hours, flying 500 miles per hour with a positive pitch. As you can see, this orange line shows the positive pitch of the plane. That black line underneath it is 0 degrees. So you can see for 2 hours, the plane was at the same altitude and it maintained a positive pitch. So it flew 1,000-mile distance.
Positive pitch with respect to horizontal. So close.
With a positive pitch over the Earth, meaning the nose of the plane was tilted up a few degrees. The reason the plane
with respect to horizontal
keeps a positive attitude is to maintain altitude and generate lift. Now, if you're flying around a globe, it would be impossible.
Why?
To have positive pitch over 2 hours over 1,000 miles distance and not gain altitude on a globe, you would have to correct for the curvature of the Earth by changing orientation of the plane relative to the curved surface.
You have to, do you? Man.
This pitch data directly shows the contrary. It didn't happen. Planes don't do this in real.
Shows the contrary. So you're presenting this positive claim for a flat Earth that shows the pitch with respect to a horizontal plane of reference, and its nose up with respect to that horizontal plane of reference for 2 hours, but it shows the complete opposite to your non-positive assertion that the plane would have to dip its nose around. Brian, we're going to need to do more presentations on this. Hope you're listening.
Reality, you can see here, very, very, very basic. If this plane was flying over a curved surface, it would have to change orientation and drop below horizontal relative to the ground to keep up with the curvature of the Earth. But all pilots admit they do not need to nose down, they do not need to adjust for curvature, simply because the curvature is not there. The FAA trains pilots to assume a flat, non-rotating Earth and to ignore a gravity vector, even in the simulations that they use, because the Earth is flat and non-rotating. Here are several clips of pilots I've debated that admit they don't adjust for curvature and don't think.
Do you drive a diesel Land Rover or Jaguar?
You don't have to adjust. You maintain the same altitude around a globe. Is this line curved? 7 feet of curvature drop every minute, or they would continue on in a straight path into space and end up 166,000 feet above the Earth after covering 500 miles if the Earth were a sphere. And obviously this doesn't happen because Earth is not a sphere, and planes fly straight and level over the Earth. That is also straight and level. This is a time lapse of the horizon, and you can see how the horizon line changes. This proves that the horizon is not in a geometric location, but it is optical, and it changes day to day.
It's not me doing that with the sound. I don't know what the hell's going on.
So this is the reason why
this is another version of the oil rig observation. So the camera is placed on the guard railing between cafe and restroom showers, and you're going to look here. When we look at the elevation, it is set at 8 feet. So Google Earth reads this as 8 feet off of the water, which is a little higher than the 1 foot camera stuff that we did earlier. And then we're going to take a draw line to the first platform, which is called platform C, which is directly out in front of it, and then another one a little bit off to the right, which is platform habitat.
Okay, I mean, Black Swan. I think he's playing a video. Go ahead.
Did you hear what he said, though? I remember the other day when I said their claim is actually that level is curving away from level. He said it.
Right.
Flying and
He's not talking about different.
Go on.
He's not talking about dip angle at that point. He's just talking about level curving, seeing Earth curve or whatever they want. He's saying that level is deviating from level.
Right.
And he thinks he can see that.
Yeah, they've got to violate an axiom to make this claim. It's ludicrous.
Curious to pick your guys' brain at the end of this conversation already, but if you have a question, you're hanging in the live chat and you don't think we're getting to it, you can ask that, and we will we'll ask those questions at the end of the show. So let's put it to the other side, Peter and Tony, to respond to some of what they just heard, and then jump in, and it's open discussion time there, fellas.
Okay, so most of what we just heard feeds into in unusual atmospheric conditions you can see further than the geometry alone indicates.
Right, where would that geometry have been derived there, PhD Tony? Would it be by way of R-value acquisition off a flat Earth? Because I'm pretty sure you're whistling past the genesis of the geometry that you say we can see too far past in Atmo what now? Oh yeah, Nathan Thompson already gave you atmosphere, didn't he? It's oxymoronic, Tony. Don't have sphere-shaped air. Air doesn't take sphere shapes.
That is not exclusively, that does not exclude a globe, nor does it include a globe.
What atmosphere doesn't include sphere-shaped air? It's clues in the title, mate. When you say it's sphere-shaped, I'm pretty sure that does include a sphere and excludes all else that is sphere... non-sphere related, because it's atmosphere. So I don't really understand your non sequitur, stupid nonsense that declares that it's neither spherical or non-spherical when you've said the word atmosphere. Again, I'll just reiterate that that's oxymoronic. You don't have sphere-shaped air. Air doesn't take sphere shapes. It doesn't take any shape. It's shaped as its containment. Go on, John.
Oh, maybe he is slightly aware that he has to calculate it from a flat plane, and that's why he's saying that.
Maybe.
And so I don't consider these optical. I don't consider optical observations that that persuasive. Nathan's example with his with walking away with his camera. The camera was obviously tilted upwards. That.
How does that prove a globe or disprove anything? Well, unfortunately for Nathan Thompson, he's offered it in regards to explaining perspective, which is a non-positive flat Earth claim. There's nothing we have that's attached to proving Earth is flat with perspective. It's our explanation for the horizon, where they assert it's a geometric physical sphere edge below surface level when measuring Earth flat. Again, the fact that everybody's whistled past the Genesis measurements of Earth to make their assertion in the first instance, like Tony's now doing, in spite of the opponent having already done it for him. But that's all we've done. Everybody's whistled past the actual prerequisite flat Earth measurements at this point. Go ahead.
He also said optical observations. PhD Tony, is there another kind?
I hear that thing's quite far away. Smells distant to me. Smells very distant.
Very distant by smell alone. Smell observation.
Feel it.
No.
That's just deceptive. Robert's, Angel's thing about planes, the pitch of planes. Isobar.
Bloody hellfire. How many years have you been speaking English, Tony?
Are curved. Isobars follow the curve of the Earth.
What? Absolutely not. Isobars are with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. Where's he getting this crap from? Where's he getting this from?
He's just making it up.
Has he just made that up?
Yes.
So you don't need to adjust.
As substantiated by what? By pure fiat. It's baseless assertion fallacy, isn't it?
Yes. The pitch of the plane to follow the isobar.
We're moving on from that baseless assertion. This is what happens when it's you just allow everybody to spew shite endlessly.
The pitch of the plane follows isobars, Tony. Are you delusional?
It's simply a fact
whatsoever.
It's simply a fact of physics that the plane will follow the curve of the isobar because the isobar.
The curve of the isobar? Is it sky high?
Yeah, he's delusional, Dunning-Kruger moron. Look at him.
Bar is curved. So this An
isobar is curved? Okay.
Joe.
Well, I mean, he can show me an isobar and it might have a curve in it on a flat plane of reference to describe the difference in pressures. Okay. So what, it's a wibbly-wobbly circle on a flat map? Yeah, there's curve of that circle. In one axis, though. It's not curving three-dimensionally around a sphere surface. Where's he getting this from?
Instance of that pitch data demonstrates that the Earth is flat. Absolutely untrue.
Sorry, he had the diagram up. He had the chart up, rather. He had the pitch data itself up. Get there in the end. The pitch data is unequivocally flat. It's describing an angle. The angle of the nose with respect to a plane of reference. If it wasn't a plane of reference, it wouldn't be able to be described as an angle. The pitch itself would make no sense. You wouldn't have an angle to describe. It is, without doubt, flat in pitch data, Tony. Is this hand wave dismissal going to be substantiated? Let's see.
The training manual also...
Training manual? Whoa. Where's your substantiation for the claimed falsity of a flat Earth in the pitch data? It's angle of the nose with respect to a plane of reference, as shown. It's just pure hand wave. All right, that's just not true. All right, I see. Is that how it works? How wonderful. do the numpty audience buy this? When they hear Tony, PhD, does he just need PhD in front of his name for the audience to accept what he says? My baseless assertion.
So assumes that planes are rigid. Planes are not rigid. They all
Are they not? I must admit, I often thought of rubber planes that were bendy. I mean, I know there is a certain amount of bend in plane wings engineered into them, but not rigid. Okay, fair enough.
they also assume that
God.
Mr. Gumby football planes. He swapped spit in the shower with hillbilly blue balls, redneck retard, aka the photosynthetic redneck, aka Mr. Gumby football field. So planes are Gumbies. Clown.
that the plane's mass is constant. The plane's mass is not constant. It changes through time. So air manuals make a bunch.
Tomorrow it'll be a different mass, QE. Changes with time.
Every minute.
Of aircraft manuals make a bunch of simplifying assumptions, and one of those is that the Earth is flat.
Okay.
What?
So the manuals, is it just me or are we in La La Land where Nathan Thompson did a pretty good job of arguing on behalf of the globe and what we should see in terms of Earth curve obstructions? Now Tony's doing a pretty good job of telling you how flat Earth is declared to be by these authorities. Am I in La La Land? Why is Tony doing a better job for the flat Earth than Nathan Thompson? And why is Nathan Thompson postulating all the globe proof? I don't get it.
He said these manuals make a lot of simplifying assumptions. What the hell does that even mean?
It means they don't say it's globe-shaped. Therefore, he can decide that it's a simplified assumptions when they say it's flat.
It's moronic statement. It's stupid. Joe.
So yeah. Also radar bouncing signal.
It's just pure baseless assertion again. It's just a string. What the? Why is nobody doing anything about this? What's going on? Am I missing something? Why is nobody saying, hello? Do we get any substantiation for that utter tripe? Or do we just move on to the next scattergun of crap?
You missed it. He did. He said, so, yeah.
I didn't know it was that easy. Just so, yeah. That's the substantiation, is it? Okay, I'll write that down.
What a glue snipper.
Radar off the upper troposphere and get a return and get a
Tropper what now? Yeah, you're going to need to show that violation of second law of thermodynamics.
Return signal. That's not indicative of a flat Earth. So
what are you talking about? He said radar's not indicative of a flat Earth. It's absolutely requiring a flat plane of reference to function. What's he on about?
Yeah. He almost said angle of return, and then he stuttered, said, if you give it a J.
Also, radar bouncing signal. You can bounce radar off the upper troposphere and get a return signal.
And get a return malfunction signal.
So radar bounces off air, Tony.
Sphere-shaped air. Tropospheric.
That's not indicative of a flat Earth. So
it's a prerequisite, mate. It's radar. Yeah. It's a prerequisite. It's in two dimensions on the. Go ahead.
Yeah. How did it get to the troposphere? What did it have to go through first? Why didn't it bounce off anything up to your paradoxical troposphere first before it got there?
Sentient.
Is it different air?
Sentient. No, the radar itself is sentient. It knows what to bounce off.
Clown. Retard.
Yes.
So yeah, all of that was, was optics and.
That's a fantastic substantiation, just as good as the last one. Well, yeah, that's all optics. Sorry, I should have a pen.
What was the radar optics?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go with yes.
optics and misunderstanding of how physics works.
How physics works.
Hope that clears that up for you, Kiwi.
Also, I take exception with Nathan.
Also, we need more. I'm pretty sure I'm done. I'm converted back to PhD, Tony. Well done.
Describing my presentation as only computer presentations. I presented the lengths of railway tracks and I presented observational data of earthquake propagation.
What about railway tracks? Railway tracks?
Data of earthquake propagation. Want to run that by us again?
Right, earthquake propagation is also with respect to a horizontal plane of reference, isn't it? Seismic data, right?
Yes.
I don't know what he's talking about. That last statement was incoherent.
He's talking about seismology. He's talking about seismology. He doesn't know it. We know it. It's with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. Back me up, John. Refracted.
Right. They're taking incident angles and graphing it, but they're measuring incident angles is what they're doing when they're doing
He didn't measure shit. I didn't see anything yet. Why are you responding to it?
Because it's
He
a flat
hasn't
Earth
shown
proof.
anything.
Because he's threw it out there and hasn't substantiated it, and we're just bringing some clarity to the flat Earth proof this is when you talk about seismology and measuring earthquakes.
I don't understand how you can describe either of those as computer simulations.
I didn't, but I mean, I'm not your opponent in this debate, but we described how it's with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. You need a flat Earth for this?
I just want to mention before we get off too far off that is Nathan mentioned the flat Earth sun, moon, and clock app.
Maybe in the bit that we didn't hear. I certainly didn't hear him say that, but I did scan through a fair bit of it. So,
Guys, please do not download that unless you want your GPS location, your email address, and your password doxed to the entire internet. Because
what, like loads of apps? Oh, he said docs to the entire. Hold on, let's just hear what he says.
it's got a major security hemorrhage right now, and Flat Earth Dave is just sweeping it under the rug. So,
okay, as substantiated by what?
Go watch some of Michael Toon's videos on it before you downloaded it.
So let me get it straight. You're going to substantiate that shit by telling the audience to go and watch a video about it. So you're not going to back this baseless assertion. I mean, I'm as against the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon and Clock Zodiac app as anybody else for its utter shite and use of a globe projection. But that's a different issue. As for you calling it a scam because go and watch a video, no, I'm going to need you, the one who said it, to substantiate that. Is it just me or is it just scattergun? No, this is fraudulent. It just grieves me slightly when we call people frauds. We go to great lengths to absolutely substantiate people like Will Duffy's fraud by detailing his hijacking of a terminology that implies empiricism with the word experiment, making him a fraud. You notice how I substantiated my calling Will Duffy a fraud? By detailing the fraud. You're not doing that. Go and watch a video, won't cut it, you complete scumbag.
Yeah. Go watch a McBooger Eater video. Is your proof malarkey? Idiot.
I'll just make up some crap. I mean, should I just make up some crap about this tosser with specs on? I'll just make up some crap and then tell people that it's absolutely true. Go watch a video about it. And the other video won't have any proof in it. It won't have any demonstrable evidence. But I'll ask next man to make a video that says this guy's a complete idiot.
Yep.
Download it unless you want your data to be doxed.
You haven't proven that that's the case, you scumbag.
All right.
All right. Oh, that's all right. Next man's living don't matter. This man can besmirch it without any evidence to do so. I'll just throw it out there. The guy's not even there.
Oh, it's on the other side. You're free to jump in.
Welcome to modern day debate.
Yeah, so just a nut to our observations, that's refraction. The Earth just looks flat, but it's actually curved. Trust me, bro. Are you serious?
So, well, it's...
Nobody said that. Who said that?
So how do you explain sunlight getting onto...
Say again, John.
Was that Angel that said that?
Yes.
That sounded like shits.
It was angels.
Angel. Angel up here.
So you appeal.
Who said that? Pull it, Jay.
Okay, it's only the 4 of them on there, but if you really must.
Here, Angel and Nathan.
Yeah, so just a nut to our observations, that's refraction. The Earth just looks flat, but it's actually curved. Trust me, bro. Are you serious?
So how do you explain sunlight getting onto? So you appeal
Again, Tony, with the English speaking.
To absolutely unphysical optical effects in order to explain sunlight and why the bottom of objects are obscured.
Nothing he just said made any sense. That wasn't a coherent question.
Right? You did exactly the same thing. Yes, you did. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as atmospheric compression, mate. It's something. Did you see? It's something that flat earthers made up.
Oh, really?
So
Did you see my...
What? Now Tony, PhD, is charging flat earthers with making something up about sphere-shaped oxymoronic air.
Yep.
Why would flat earthers do that, Tony? Do you want to substantiate this claim? He's about to show where flat earthers did this, isn't he? Because he's been so, on form with his substantiation of his baseless assertions to date. That's sarcasm, by the way.
Going to appeal to something that is imaginary, you can't turn around and say, "Well, refraction doesn't explain away our observations."
Did you see my opening where the horizon changed up and down? What is that?
Yes, I did.
It's atmospheric turbulence, Angel.
So
you know what atmospheric turbulence is.
Did the Earth?
Nobody's denying that optical effects change where the horizon seems to be.
So it's not Earth curve then. It's not a hill getting in the way then. Well, that undoes your own claim, Tony. Nobody's claiming it. What's marked with an X and labelled horizon in your Earth curve maths then? The one that needs flat Earth surface level to measure it and infer it exists below the surface level? What's that then?
Can I see the horizon changing?
According to Tony.
Can somebody show me that?
Well, that's what he's just said.
No, that's what our side said with the horizon changing. I think it was Angel. Can you? What? Huh?
This is a cluster screw.
Yep.
Welcome to Flat Earth. So the horizon's not geometric now.
Angel, you just sound stupid when you say that. Stop saying that.
That is the opposite of what I said. I said if how far you can see depends on...
Yeah, Roger. Roger? Oh, okay.
Atmospheric conditions, that is an influence of atmospheric conditions. If there are constraints on what you can see that apply regardless of the atmospheric conditions, then that's a geometric artifact, right? Geometry is constant. Atmospheric conditions vary.
Atmo, what now? Where'd you get the geometry? It's the end of this debate.
Yep, it's over. Paradoxical conditions, Tony.
Atmosphere, sphere-shaped air, oxymoronic sphere-shaped air is the answer to the geometry. Where's the origins of the geometry? Flat Earth angle measurements. Yep. That's it. That's the end of this discussion.
Yep.
Why isn't it being ended here?
We got pretender clouds everywhere.
The argument that, well, atmospheric conditions vary, therefore there's no...
Oxymoronic atmosphere will vary.
Geometry is...
Sorry, the oxymoronic sphere-shaped air affects the geometry. Where'd you get the geometry? Oh yeah, from a flat Earth. Right there in the maths. Called surface level.
The oxymoronic air affects the geometry. That would mean that the oxymoronic air is inflating and deflating the geometry.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's not logically valid. That's a flawed syllogism. You can't make the argument that there's no geometry.
So no syllogism was offered. What's he on about? Is he just trying to sound smart? That's a flawed syllogism. Sorry, do you want to repeat the syllogism that's flawed so we can understand how flawed it is after you repeat it?
Well, I think what he's wanting to do is make it a positive claim for them to state that there isn't any geometry to the horizon. so that he can say that's a flawed syllogism instead of him making a positive claim.
Simply from the observation that atmospheric conditions vary.
Oxymoronic sphere-shaped air isn't a thing, Tony. Air takes the shape of its containment in all instances. There are no examples that you will ever show of sphere-shaped air, ever.
They've got nothing to do with one another.
Is the geometric curvature of the Earth the horizon?
The horizon is how far you can see.
So that's a no then. Okay? Bye-bye Earth curve. If it's how far you can see, it's not Earth curve. Because Earth curve only exists in Earth curve maths.
Right,
true horizon, the true horizon.
A true horizon is what? There's only one horizon, Tony. Why are you splitting it up into giving it different descriptions? The non-true horizon, the imaginary horizon,
is determined by the geometry of the Earth.
So it's a hill getting in the way then. Now, we debunked that in 2020, Tony. If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959, then every distance to the horizon you assert is Earth curve getting in the way of stuff could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Distance to horizon in the Black Swan is beyond those geometric limitations you just asserted when you infer the horizon's a hill getting in the way of stuff. Black Swan. The Earth's not a sphere and the horizon is not Earth curve, Tony. You'd think you'd know it's been almost 5 years.
The apparent horizon...
Sorry, the apparent position where the sky meets the ground or sea. That seems a bit redundant there, Tony.
Is influenced by optical conditions.
All right, let's...
So it's not geometric then? Or is it just me, or we've got two horizons now? So if it's affected by optical, it's not physical then. It's not a hill if you can change it by putting a different lens on. Hills don't behave that way. It doesn't matter which lens I put on my camera. I'm not going to affect the hill. If it's a hill, it's just a hill. Your f-stop's not going to make any difference, mate.
Let's let Nathan jump in there, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm going to read here from The Art of Perspective, because we got people saying, oh, the camera's just tilted up. I mean, if the camera was tilted down, you'd just be looking at grass. You wouldn't be able to see anyone walking away.
And this is going to prove a flat Earth, is it, Nathan?
We were just looking at grass.
Can I finish, sir? I'll let you guys finish. I didn't interrupt once, Mr. Malarkey.
Yeah, you did.
So, art of perspective, right? All linear perspective is based on the idea that parallel lines are receding from you to meet in the distance. Parallel lines do not curve. That's a simple Google search. Thanks for playing Globeheads. Also, let me turn to the next.
What? Your idea when you described the axiom of being parallel was also to violate it when detailing how they appear to meet in the distance. This isn't a flat Earth proof, Nathan. It's your attempt to explain the horizon when their positive claim involves the horizon being a hill. You don't need to explain why it's not a hill. Rather, you should be utilising the horizon in ways that it's practically applied to Earth for measurement of Earth or navigation of Earth. The horizon has a practical application. Observing boats to allegedly disappear over a hill, which we debunked in 2020, and your further explanation for what the horizon is actually formed with, in this instance optical dissolution, isn't needed. It doesn't prove a flat Earth.
Page describes what is one-point linear perspective. And then it has a paragraph about the horizon versus eye level. It says, we're all pretty familiar with what the horizon is. Apparently not. In the railroad picture, you can see where the...
So why not detail it? If he's unfamiliar and he's put claims about it being physically geometric but simultaneously affected by optics, number one, point out that contradiction and then define what the horizon is, rather than saying, obviously we don't know, when you're reading out a non sequitur citation about how perspective works.
Why not just say, how do you have a horizon on a globetard? Be done with it and then leave the debate.
Where'd you get a horizon on a globe? Name me the pitch data. How does this work on a globe? Can't have this data on a globe. There is no globe. Reference to horizontal, it's an angle.
Flat land meets the sky. That's what it says. That imaginary line where the sky meets the land is the horizon. The problem is, on a globe religion, you need a physical geometric horizon obstructing boats. For a 1 foot observer, it'd be 1.22 miles away. We've done observations where the horizon is past 9.5 miles. And then we present this to globers, and they'll go to their advanced Earth curve calculators. And I've got the videos of this, slide the refraction bar all the way over.
Then you've not understood the argument, Nathan.
Yep.
It's a geometric assertion. Distance to horizon measurement can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height v. If your opponent goes to refraction, then it isn't a distance to horizon measurement. It's not a geometric horizon. It's not Earth curve then.
To the right, which makes the radius value of the Earth 39 million miles, when globers claim it's 4,000. And then...
oh, I hated it. You used to stop 10th from doing this. Remember? Why are you doing this? Why are you telling us what it would be if we were still on the globe and calculating radius with dip? Why would we do that? Other than to make a humorous aside about how big Earth would be using Alberuni's method, it's not Earth curve. Earth's not a sphere. That's the conclusion to modus tollens. Not, but if it still was a sphere, you're like, why would the modus tollens have included 3959 as the declaration of the sphere it is supposed to be with physical geometric limitations that could be measured? It's like they don't get the black swan either. Such a disappointment.
Makes the distance on surface 122 miles for a 1 foot observer, which, I mean, according to perspective, is just completely unfalsifiable. So they have made their globe unfalsifiable with video games, and then they want to sit here and say, we don't understand curvature, we don't understand...
This is making no sense to me. These last two or three sentences didn't make any sense. It's thrown in video games. I don't know what the hell he's babbling about now. I've completely lost track of what this means.
Perspective, we have Flurf perspective. When we have books on perspective, and we have to read it to you and tell you what the horizon is, the horizon is...
We don't, Nathan. We don't have to tell him what the horizon is in that respect. What it is irrelevant. How we can practically apply it is what we argue here in 2024, because there's practical uses for it. And those uses are based on the axiomatic principle of its flatness, of it being horizontal, of all planes being parallel with it. These are practically applied axioms. Go on, John.
Uses of it. No, not uses of it. Its mere existence kills the globe.
Yeah.
Synonymous with the vanishing point. I actually forgot to read that paragraph, but there's a paragraph in here talks about your vanishing line is your horizon and how it's always at eye level. So of course things are going.
No. No, that's definitely not correct. Oh man, you need a lot of spit and polish, Nathan Thompson. A lot of spit and polish. Angels gets a pass. He's not been here long enough, but you don't get a pass. I'm sorry. Should be doing better than this, shouldn't he?
Yes.
Anyone disagree?
No.
Dardo, what have you got to say? Dardo that passed this on to me. So I'm going to ask him how he feels this is going thus far. Is this how he was expecting us to react? Maybe he's not around. We'll find out shortly. You there, Jardo? I'm going to give you the last word before I ask people to stay tuned. Clearly not. Okay, with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Fortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. Shout out to Roger Ledwell for hitting the super chat. It says, Peter here thinks we are all a cult of Robotham. Definitely not. Thank you for the super chat, Roger Ledwell. Thank you very much indeed for all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a member, gifted memberships, hit me up on Ko-Fi and PayPal and all that good stuff. Once again, stay tuned if you are watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.